Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second workshop. So today we're going to be looking at how to set up Node Mailer as well as the apps build creation, but sadly we won't have enough time to complete that process, but Omar will give you a quick overview of how that's going to be done, and we're going to create a video and send you guys over the email. And so I think not a lot more people are going to be joining at this time, uh, maybe a few more, but I think since we have to get everything set up, let's begin. All right, Omar, you can take over and you can start with the node mailer setup.
All right, thank you very much, Tim. Okay, am I audible, everyone?
Yeah, you are audible.
Okay, that's good. So let's start with the today. So today we'll try to cover the node miller setup. I think that KM Hubby was facing some issue, and that was a pretty simple issue. And I'll just like explain what was that. So I have my dashboard over here, right? This is local, and currently like these are just the me details over here in the configurations. And then I'll be using like Postman.
Your screen is not shared.
Okay. Just give me a second. Sorry about that. Okay, entire screen. Hmm. What about now? Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, it's perfectly visible.
Okay, so can you see the admin dashboard?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the node miller configuration, right? Currently, I've like included the dummy details like test at email.com. These are not valid details. And then I have my like admin over here, which is the code which we will not need. But on the other side, I have my backend as well over here. Okay, and I'll create a dummy API over here so we can like test the node miller part, right? And then we'll use the postman to actually test that particular API, and let's see if we get any error or not, right? So to configure our node miller, we'll actually be using the Google app password, right? And then we'll try to create. So this will be the email that we'll be using to create app password, and this will be the name of the app, and then the password that the Google will actually provide us. So let us go to the manage accounts. Now keep in mind that I'm using the organization email, right? So there are two ways to create an app password. Either you can use an organization email. So this is like handled by the Ninja's code domain, right? And then I have like multiple my personal emails as well. So if there are some rules and protocols applied by your organization, then the organization email might face some issue, right? The Google might reject it, or the email domain or the owner of the domain might have put some extra rules or protocols, so that might reject the app password, right? In case you face that issue, you have to talk to your admin or administrator who is actually handling those email, and then like they have to do some R&D, like why the Google is actually rejecting node is actually rejecting that app password. But on the other side, if you're using like any like personal email, right, which is not actually an organization email, then you won't face any issue. So let us try with this email first, and then I'll go back to my personal email and create a new app password. So let us click on the manage your Google account. The process will be the same, right? And then go to the security. Just make sure that the two-step verification is on, and I think that is straightforward and pretty simple in all the applications. So you guys can do it, right? I should not be doing, because I cannot do it again. Think so. So you should be able to do it. It just asks you for the password, and then the phone number actually, and then it will send you a code on your mobile, and then you just enter it, and you're done with the 2FA. So this is like very simple. You don't have to work. There's no rocket science about it, right? Once you're done, you should see this check mark, right? If it is checked, that means that the two-step verification has been set up on your Google account. The next step is just go up to the search bar and type the app password, and then you should see the app password option over here. Just click on it, and this will ask you for the password. Let me log in it. Just give me a second. I'll stop the screen sharing and I'll come back, right? Just give me a second. Okay, so now I have like logged in here. Now you can see that this is the app password section where you can create an app password. This was the one that I created previously. I can just delete this one and then like type any name over here. For example, no mailer maybe, you know, no mailer session, I would say, right? Just create, and this will give you the app password, right? Just copy this app password. Make sure you don't lose it, otherwise you have to create a new one. Go to the admin, just remove this one and paste this one, and then just click on done, and you know that you this is the app, the name of your app. Just copy the name, go back to your configurations and update the name as well. Now this is the email that you actually use to create the app password, right? So I have my email over here. I can just copy this email, and then okay, let's go back and update the name as well. Now click on save. So this is saved. Let's refresh it. Right, we can see that the configuration has been updated. Now let's go back to the to our backend and let us create an API, dummy API, so we can test the node mirror function. So let us go to the app.js. I'll just create a function over here, but obviously you can use it anywhere you want. Right. Okay. So I actually created one for you guys, but I'll tell you what I've done over here. Right. So this is like the sign up flow. If I go to the sign up resolver, or maybe the user resolver. Let's go to the GraphQL resolver, and there should be an auth, I think. And this is where we should have login, rider, forgot password, reset, change, upload. Okay, it's not over here, but sign up.
I think Habib has a question.
Yeah, Habib, do you have any question? Uh, in the password, no, the password is actually auto generated. That's not manually created by you. Yep, that's actually auto generated by Google. Okay, let me go back to the app, right? So I'm actually using the attachment right over here. This will be available in the email template. Let me search the email template. I think it should be in some kind of API. Okay, let's okay. This one is our code, and this is the user's code, user's resolver, right? And this is where we should have the sign up API. Yes, create user API, right? So I copied this part of the code, which is like using the attachment from our. This is just like an image in our asset folder, and then the sign up template is actually taking an input, and then it's actually using this send email function. Okay, so I'm just using like the same code in my dummy API. Let me go back to the app.js, and so I'm using the same, like taking the attachment and then using creating a template for my email. This is obviously a dummy email, right? But obviously when you're creating or sending an email, then you can update this template based on your requirement or the kind of data that you want to include in your template. And this is the function, right? Let me just go to this function, and okay, let me import this one first. Send email. Okay. Now let's go over here. So this is like actually fetching the configuration. This has two parts. The first one is the send grid. We're actually not using send grid over here. We're just using the node miller, right? So the else part is the node miller. We're creating a transport uh, protocol instance, and then we're passing the configuration email and password that we actually added in the configuration. And then this is the mail option, the form, the to, the subject, and then the template, and then if there is any attachment, right? And this is just like calling the actual send email function. So let me go back and let me write any dummy email over here. Let me type dummy user at Melinator. I'll be using Melinator to test out the node miller. So let me go back to the Melinator dummy user. It should be all right. So let me go back. Okay, everything seems fine to me. And we can actually copy the same email, right? Okay, now let me close the server and rerun it. Okay, so it's working. Now the route should be /test. We are actually using node over here, but you can configure a node mode so you don't have to restart the server again, or any like watching configurations like watchdogs, so you don't have to restart the server again. Okay, now let's go to the postman and hit the server. Currently, I'm not passing. There's no body. Just a dummy an API with no body. Right. Let me click on send and let us see if we get any errors. Okay, so you can see that we are getting error, and this was the error that you were receiving, right? If you are using any organization email, you will receive this error, right? If you go to the link, let me open up this link, and this will give you a couple of solutions or problems that could be right. So if you forgot the password, that is not correct. Actually, the username, we actually inserted the username and password are also correct. Somebody else's account, this is also not valid. Two-step verification is also on. Okay, okay, but you can see that we have a different issue over here. It says that you use a Google account through your work, school, or other group, right? So since I'm using Ninja Code, there will be some kind of rules and protocols that is restricting me to use app password, right? If that's the case, then this is like a completely different thing, which can only be handled by the administrator or the network support team. So you have to talk to them in order to resolve this issue, right? But since most of our clients are actually using their own personal email to send emails, so we will be using that. Everything is perfectly fine. Now let me like change my account. Okay, this time I'll like go to my personal account, go to manage, and let me go back to the security. The 2F is already enabled over here, right? Now let me come over here. Let's see the app password. Okay, this is asking for the password. Now let me hide my screen, and then I'll like just give me a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm logged into the app password with my personal email. Now let me create another app over here with node S. This is the name. Let's create it. Okay, let's copy the password. Go to the Enatega and then remove this one and paste this one. Click on done. Copy the app name. Go back again. Right now, make sure to change the email as well. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, everything is fine. Now let me go back. Everything has been updated over here. Okay, now let's go back to the email. Let's see if there is any error. Okay, so the name is okay. This is the email. This is the email, and this is the password. Let me close the server again and then rerun it. Now let's resend the email again. Okay, since I'm like not returning anything from here, like not sending any response to the server. That's why it's like running for infinity. But you can see that this says that the email sent successfully, which means that we're actually in the try block, right? So let me go back to the mailer module, email and you can see that I have actually received an email from the using the node mailer. And you don't see anything over here. Maybe we missed something. Uh, this is the email. I think let's go to this the template. Let's go to the views. I don't know what. So we're passing the name, the email and the password. I'm not actually passing the password, but we should have an email over here. But let us go. Let's go inside the email template. Okay, so this is actually in the templates, and it's actually pointing to the sign up view. So let me go to the view, the emails, and the sign up, and let's search for the email. There's no email over here. Let's search for the params. Okay, okay, okay. So it's actually pointing to the name. So this is actually a bug. So let me change the name. Instead of email, let's type the name. Let me save it and restart the server again. And let me do one more thing, and that would be like sending the status as well. I can use a try catch block and send a 404 error or 40 error in case of any crash or something. And then I can say message email sent successfully. Let me close the server and run it again. Okay, the server is up and running. Let us go back to the Postman, click on send, and you can see that this time we received a message. And let us go back to the mailinator, and you can see that we should receive an email over here. Just now, you can see that. And now we're also receiving the username as well. And you can also include the password or any other details. This is just like a template, and you can modify it as per your requirements. So this is like the complete node mailer flow. The only thing that you, Habib, I think if anybody else was facing this issue, I think Habib, you were actually using the organization email. I think so, if I'm not correct. I'm not really sure which version you're using. You can like talk to the sales team about it, and they can guide you about like. Tim, can you comment on this? He's using 4.0.5.
Yeah, we do have a new update out. I can send that over to you after the call. I think it's 4.0.7 that we have currently. Yeah, no worries. We'll have that sent over to you. No problem.
All right. Is there any question that you want to ask about the node mailer? By the way, we have like SendGrid configured in the email function. If you like go to the send email function, I think it should be, let me go back to the email, and you should see like two different functions over here. Like the one is actually using the template, and then this one is actually have like text and attachment was over here. But both of these functions have like if else condition. The first if is actually for the configuration of the SendGrid. We are actually not using SendGrid, but this is actually configured. So if you want, you can just like go to the Google and maybe search for a video on a YouTube like how to configure SendGrid, and it should work fine as well. It's like a paid service, obviously. I'm not really sure, but SendGrid, Mailgun, and there are a lot of other paid services that provide uh, SMTP servers, so you can actually send and receive emails, or you can integrate any other third-party service. Okay, this was from my side. If there's anything that you guys want to ask so far about the session or anything else, then okay. So we have actually, guys, we have actually recorded the whole video of how to set up and create different builds for both customer, restaurant, and rider. So there are two flows, right? One is like you want to run the application in your local system. For that, you don't need to like release any build. But initially, we were using some packages in the customer app. So for that, you needed a development build. But now, like we have made some changes, so you don't need any build for that. You can just use Expo to run your application in your local device or maybe in emulator. So that was like just to run this just like a simple flow to run your mobile applications in local. Now in order to release those applications, there is a complete video, you can follow that. But just to give you an overview, there are three different things that are included in that. The first one is that you must have an Expo account, right? And then uh, you should have some Google configuration as well, because in that we create auth IDs. So the mobile applications can actually log into Google as well, both for the iOS and for the Android as well. And then we have some Firebase configurations. And what we do actually, we have two different SHA hashes, SHA-1 and SHA-256. So the SHA-1, and I'm not really sure which is which one, but the SHA-1 is from the Expo account, which we actually add in the Firebase configurations, right? If you watch the video, you will actually understand what I'm trying to say. And then the SHA-256 and SHA-1, we actually get that when we create an Expo project, right? So when you get SHA-1, SHA-256 hashes, the SHA-1 is actually added into the Firebase configurations. uh, and then the short of this is actually added in the Google consoles when you're actually trying to create an auth ID for the mobile apps, right? So this is like the complete flow, and then you do have to update some of the files in the mobiles. The one is the EAS.jsn, where you actually update the versions, right? So it doesn't conflict with the previous versions. And then you do have to add the iOS scheme URL for the iOS to connect with the Google, and so on and so forth. So there is a complete video. I want you guys to watch that video, and in case you guys face any kind of issue, then we can have like a detailed session on this as well. But I'm pretty sure you guys will do everything.